So guys, still on the breaking news that one of the options before Donald Trump is to split Nigeria so that the North will go its way, the South will go its way, since it is difficult, to stop the terrorism ravaging the country. And this is all because we have sympathizers of these terrorists. And the news has it that Trump is considering to split Nigeria so that the North will have its own country while the South will have its own country. Now, Sheikh Gumi is said to have reacted to that. And this post here says, "We will resist any attempt by external forces to break up Nigeria. Nobody can displace the Fulani." Sheikh Gumi warns Trump and Netanyahu. Also, this headline also captured the same thing, saying, "Just in, we will resist any attempt by external forces to break up Nigeria. Nobody can displace the Fulani." Sheikh Gumi warns Trump and Netanyahu. Also, we all know that a whole lot of insecurity challenges in Nigeria has been happening, and for the fact that it is appearing very difficult to fight these terrorists, Trump is now said to be considering splitting Nigeria. Now, talking about insecurity and the kind of treatment that some tribes get, like the Fulanis, the terrorists in the North, they get rehabilitation, they get amnesty, they come out to talk to the government and all that. But if it is for an Igbo man, Nnamdi Kanu is serving life imprisonment because of statement they said he made while he was doing broadcast. But the terrorists who have killed people are being granted amnesty, pardon, forgiveness, giving taxpayers money. Now, see how this guy, who is also a Northerner, captured it. He said, according to the Nigerian government, Biafra agitation is a greater sin than Islamic terrorism. That's why Biafrans are killed, while Islamic terrorists are rewarded for killing thousands of Nigerians and displacing millions from their homeland. So guys, you may not have any idea of how much Nigeria is spending as a result of insecurity coming from northern Nigeria. This northern Nigeria has really crippled Nigeria, considering the fight against insecurity, how much is going into it, and it's as if we are still scratching the surface. I mean, these terrorists are really proving stubborn when it comes to eradicating them. Now, talking about the insecurity in the North, the worst even happened yesterday, being Sunday. Do you know that these terrorists went to churches, kidnapped more than 100 persons? Like this headline here says, breaking, terrorists kidnapped more than 100 churchgoers in Kaduna community. They went to a particular community and ransacked the churches in that area, and they took more than 100 persons. And this one here says, any state governor that negotiates with bandits, terrorists, the governor is a member of the terrorists. We will withdraw soldiers from the state, let the governor and the people continue their negotiation with the bandits, terrorists, coming from General Musa. He said those negotiating that the military is going to withdraw the military presence, let them continue their negotiation, because the northern leaders don't listen to Musa. Musa has tried telling them to stop that negotiation, but they don't want to listen. And Musa is saying, if you do it, we will leave the insecurity for you to battle. Now, look at this headline from Vanguard. It says, bandit abducted worshippers during church service in Kaduna. That is what I've just told you. More than 100 persons. And this American also reacted, saying, another mass kidnapping of Christians in Nigeria. I'm hearing more than 100 targeting multiple churches during Sunday worship in southern Kaduna, targeted by Fulani militants. For this kind of attacks, both recent and for years, once again, no security reaction. When will it end? So guys, when will it end? What Christians are going through. Now, this one here says, breaking, bandits kidnap more than 100 churchgoers in Kaduna community. Sahara reporters. In a daring attack on Sunday, a gang of bandits struck multiple churches in the Kumi Wali area of Kajuru local government, Kaduna State, abducting more than 100 worshippers during ongoing service. I mean, service was on. They came. This is why Trump is talking about, splitting Nigeria, because he believes that these terrorists are never compatible with the Christians. So guys, I don't know what you make of this. Let me allow you to take a look at this video. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification for more. Thank you.
Arewa tried to do was to divide Nigeria into north and south. Is that correct?
Arewa was not dividing any Nigeria.
That is the way you were comparing our claim.
We are not comparing your claim.
You are responding to...
We were making
a response.
Statistical...
You were making a response.
As a response, yes.
Ndi Igbo said they have no refinery in Igbo land. And your response is, South has one refinery, North has one refinery. That is what you said. Is that correct?
Yes.
That one in the south, is it in Igbo land?
It is in the part of Nigeria.
Is it in Igbo land?
Nigeria is not administered by ethnic groups, my lord. Let us understand something.
There is a claim before this panel, not by Nigerians.
Against who? For a petroleum station?
Against the federal government for injustice. And they say there are 2-3 refineries in Nigeria.
Yes.
There is one in Kanu.
Yes.
There is Kaduna.
Kaduna.
He answered.
I answered. I'm just saying yes to you because yes. You show me the one in Kano.
There is one in Kaduna. There is one in Port Harcourt. There is one in Warri. They are drilling for one unsuccessfully in Maiduguri. There is none in Ndibo. Is that correct? All right.
My lord,
is that correct?
You have talked. Look, when you say Port Harcourt, you didn't say Nkwere or whatever drive is there. When you said Kano, you didn't say Hausa. The petrol station, refinery in Kano that you said, or in Kaduna, is not for Hausas. You didn't say the one in Calabar is
again. You have no.
When it comes to your own say Igbo land.
Did you read
the fuel station? The petrol refinery
yes.
distributed according to.
Can I now ask?
We should now have 400 refineries.
Can I ask you another question? Do you know Sisi Ono, Chief Sisi Ono?
Chief who?
Chief Sisi Ono.
I've heard of him.
Good.
The one whose daughter is married to Ojukwu. Or who? I don't know who you are talking about. Chief.
I don't know people by their female children. Well, that Ojukwu gave evidence in Enugu.
Ojukwu?
Yeah, but no.
Oh no.
Sisi Ono, yes.
Yeah, he gave his daughter.
He gave evidence.
Oh, he gave evidence.
Yes. You read it in the transcript. He said he gave the positions of electricity in Nigeria. He said the one at Oju River was cannibalized since 1966.
Yes.
Since then, the federal government has built a power station in Chirora Dam.
Yes.
Power stations in 11 places in Nigeria.
Yes.
And they have not bothered to repair Oji.
Unfortunate.
Good.
I have also complained about the mismanagement of our resources.
Is that just? It's unfortunate.
I said it's unfortunate.
Thank you.
You are supposed to maintain what you have. We fail to maintain what we have, not just.
Do you know? If you don't know, say you don't know. There are 46 federal government-sponsored irrigation dams. You know what I mean?
Alive or dead?
Irrigation, not dam, D-A-M.
Yes, I say, are those dams alive or dead?
I said they are functioning now that we are talking. 46 in the north. In all the states in the north. There is none in Ohaneze Ndiwo area. Do you know?
I don't know.
You will not know.
There is none in Buraland as much as I know.
You have not petitioned. That is the problem.
Well, if Nigeria has been developing by petition, now we know. I thought Nigeria is developing by government plans.
The federal government, in the speech which you read,
yes,
the head of state speech,
yes,
he inaugurated this and said, because of these inadequacies,
yes,
because of these complaints about marginalization,
yes,
those who feel injured,
yes,
who feel marginalized,
yes,
should come to these people here. That's why we're here.
Human rights on development.
That's what the head of state said.
Yes, I agree.
Those who feel they are marginalized,
yes,
or even threatened
and that's
by
why we have responded, because we are marginalized.
You have not responded. You have not claimed. You have not made any claim.
No, we have no claim, but we have responded. We have said when you go by this, we too were doubly marginalized.
Arewa
has been said to be a busybody group. Do you agree?
A
busybody going around. Things, interlopers, somebody says. People who don't have anything that concerns them, but they put themselves into it. I put to you, that
is our democratic right to participate in everything in Nigeria in which we feel we are concerned. We are not interlopers.
Thank you. For how many minutes?
We are not immigrants. We are indigenous. We are entitled to whatever you claim, we can also claim.
Rights activist Omoyele Sowore challenging Nigerians across ethnic lines to join him in a peaceful march to the Aso Rock presidential villa to demand Mr. Kanu's release, even as his health is reported to be fast deteriorating in custody. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the irrepressible human rights activist and former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
What has motivated you to take the step of calling on people to take to the streets to draw attention to the need to release Mr. Kanu?
It's a number of things, and one is that we're friends, and we've been friends for a long time. In fact, I was one of the few people through Sahara TV that interviewed Nnamdi Kanu when he was relatively unknown, before he was arrested the first time. And I met him in 2019 in New York, had a conversation about the struggle for his people, and we struck a friendship then. And I was here in Nigeria myself, held up by the Nigerian government when he was extraordinary rendition from Kenya. In fact, I was one of the few people who ran to court by the time he had been taken to the DSS detention, where he had been deposited before, after he was kidnapped from Kenya. So, but the most important thing is that I understand the nature of justice, fair hearing, his constitutional right. And it is in his own case that you can say that he's presumed guilty and he's trying to prove his innocence, which is very sad. If you look at how long it has taken for all these court processes to take place, you know that Kanu's fate is not in the hands of the judiciary. If a decision was taken today by the owners of Nigeria to let him go, the judge might sit in the middle of the night and let him go. And by the way, on my way here, something happened. President Tinubu just pardoned 82 people. One of them was Herbert Macaulay, Nnamdi Azikiwe, of course, Farouk, who collected a bribe from Otedola, a cocaine dealer who was in prison for life, and a fraudster. So if you can pardon this array of people and several others, I'm not asking for pardon for him, but it's a time to let Nnamdi Kanu go.
Is there a lot of public support for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, or is that difficult to gauge?
Oh, it's unprecedented. You know, I've been fighting for his release for a long time. I used to attend all his court trials. Under Buhari, I was attacked several times. Each time I went to court, I was attacked physically by the DSS, police, thugs. But this time around, I'm surprised at the number of non-traditional people, you know what I mean, who are in support of it. In fact, there was a poll put up by, you know, it's not a scientific poll, by Tunde Ednon's page, who's a major Instagram influencer. And out of 17,000 people, 92% of them support the call for his release and the protest that's been planned for 20th of October.
I understand you've tried to contact many leaders in the Southeast to take more public-facing action in support of Nnamdi Kanu's release. Have you been struck by their apparent lack of personal involvement and commitment to that cause?
I'm not shocked, because I think on your show I once declared that Kanu's predicament, his ordeal, is as a result of some persons in the Southeast who took a decision that his release would jeopardize their political career and future. That I know as far back as when Tinubu freshly became president, because I was part of some conversation to release him. And they said at that time, Imo elections are coming. If it comes out, APC might not win. And subsequently, I realized that some of the communiques you see is just, you know, word of mouth by day, when they go at night or when they meet Tinubu, it's likely that they have a different position. And when I started contacting them in the last 24 hours, I'm shocked. Some of them that I used to be able to reach just switched off their lines. The ones I sent messages never responded. I reached out to Soludo, who I know personally.
That's Charles Soludo,
who is the governor of
Anambra State. Right.
No response till now. I reached out to Alex Oti. Alex Oti used to be a columnist for Sahara Reporters, so I know him personally. No response till now. The only response I got was a nominal response that no, we shouldn't have dragged us the way you did. Reached out to Peter Obi, they said he's in Rome. But I sent a message that, you can behave as the Romans do too, just be part of this. But some have been encouraging. Senator Abaribe, I reached out to him, he responded, he said, I'm in on this. And I know that Abaribe suffered when he was a shorty for Kanu. In fact, I was sleeping on Abaribe's bed at the DSS in 2019, shortly after he was released, because he was shorty for Nnamdi Kanu. So the rep from his state at the House of Rep also has signed up. A number of persons have signed up, some of them publicly, but there is no unified response from Southeastern political leaders or traditional rulers or even the religious priesthood there, which many had expected would happen. But a lot of young people have signed up to this, and you can see that the Nigerian government is already pushing back because they've seen the response to be unequivocally in support of the release of Nnamdi Kanu at this time. I don't think they were expecting that such a response would be so favorable and swift.
So is this what you think is needed to push this Nnamdi Kanu issue over the line and perhaps change President Tinubu's view of Mr. Kanu and not the sort of behind-the-scenes quiet diplomacy that has been going on since?
It's obvious that diplomacy cannot work. If it was going to work, by now it would have resolved the issue. I think they used the diplomacy or their proclamation about diplomacy to just make the public become a little lethargic about his release, so that nobody, they're working on it, don't worry. Because we hear that a lot from Oti, who is the Abia State governor, that is working on this quietly. In fact, I was told in court about 2 weeks ago that he will be released on head grounds. They had convinced everybody, only for him to come to court, and they kept changing goalposts, as we call it. So I don't think diplomacy has to be a combination of, actions. And one of it, I think, is going to be a loud public disapproval of his continued detention, and a protest would work, in my view, in that regard. And that's why I want these people who claim to want him to be released to join the protest. Yes, because when they have issues, they do protest. There's no major politician in this country that has never participated in the protest when their own private interests are at stake.
I was speaking to a group of Nigerian political campaigners recently, and they seem to think that mobilizing the Nigerian people for any kind of large-scale protest has become a sort of famously impossible thing to achieve. I mean, do you share that view?
Well, I don't. It's the same country in 2024 that Nigerians protested for 10 days straight in what was known as End Bad Governance struggle. Nigerians in 2020 did end SARS. It was a globally acclaimed resistance.
Well, to be fair, the end SARS was the last big protest.
Yes, but there was still a protest in 2024. It may not have been as big. What I'm saying is that, yes, there's been efforts to discourage Nigerians, and when you go out there and kill people and charge them for offenses that are very grievous in nature, you're likely to discourage a country in which you have 139 million people who are living in abject poverty. They just want to go out there and get whatever they can and survive from day to day, hand to mouth. So, but I don't think that is impossible. What has been impossible is the unity of purpose, because they have figured out how to divide us, along ethnicity. I remember in 2024 when we were planning bad governance protest, we included the release of Nnamdi Kanu in that protest. And Johannes Ndigo, when I issued a statement that they are not part of the protest. So maybe by now we would have gotten Nnamdi released. So there's also a lot of tactics used by Nigerian government to discourage people, and some of it is how they have made it open-ended to kill protesters, implicate them in crimes that are insurmountable. You saw in 2024 how they charged children for treason. It's never happened anywhere in the world before. So, but I think the consciousness around this is great. And I also think that in some ways, Nigerians always love when things are happening in other places. They love the replica of it. You notice that there's been a lot of chatter around Nepal, and Morocco recently. So maybe, that's also might be an inspiration.
Right, but I mean, are there lingering security-related things that are yet to be resolved around Mr. Kanu? I mean, can he, for instance, call on IPOB? I think he's called on them before, but again, to relinquish all forms of violence and all forms of threat to the Nigerian state. Will that be needed as well in order to convince the powers that be of Mr. Kanu's sincerity?
I think he made an open declaration in court where he said, give me 5 minutes if I'm released, I'm going to end the violence in the Southeast. He made the declaration in court last year. What else do you want from him? And you are the government, at any rate, you have a duty to protect the public. It's not his job to protect the Southeast or the Southwest. But the truth is that I have said this, and I'll repeat again. If you are a Nigerian, you can get away with a lot of things. But if you are Igbo, Nigerian, you can't get away with a lot of things. Yes.
But you're not getting away with much.
Yes, but the odds are stacked against you because you are coming with zero, and they will do it to you. I mean, it was in this country that there's a Yoruba nation movement. They even went and hijacked a radio station last year. Did you hear of any trial? Did you hear of any arrest? I'm not using that. I'm not saying that should not be the case, but we must tell ourselves the truth. That it just doesn't look good that the Igbos are marginalized in every sector, including in the justice sector. To get a trial wrapped up in 10 years, is that so difficult to do, especially when you claim that you have evidence that this person has committed these grievous crimes? Nothing has been done. There's nobody who's been presented as a witness. The only witness that was presented in this case did not accuse him of any crime. He didn't say he found a gun on him or he was importing ammunition or weapons or had a grenade. He just said, well, he was making declaration that he wants Biafra. And I've checked the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 Constitution. There's nowhere it is stated that it's a crime to say that you want Biafra.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do have to, and not to sort of qualify what you're saying, but I mean, the person asking for a Yoruba nation is quite different from the Biafra issue, because Biafra, actually, there was a war in this country.
That's exactly what I'm telling you, that the odds are stacked against you.
That lasted quite some
Absolutely.
time. So in that context, and in that very narrow context, anything that appears to inflame that concept of bringing back the memories of the war and all the things that happened and in a sense threatening this country is something that raises the hackles of people. But let me ask you this. I mean, you yourself have become a sort of master of the protests, if that can be described in polite terms. I mean, is that because you believe that over the years or over the decades, the mood of the times in this country has been politically dark and is getting darker?
Yes, I have always stated it that every president in Nigeria is worse than the last one. When Buhari left, everybody said this is going to be the worst. And after Buhari left, people were calling for the return of the Buhari regime. So that shows to you that
to be fair, I haven't heard a lot of people calling for the return.
I heard a lot of people who said Well,
I mean, in preference to the Tinubu regime.
I've heard people say, give us Buhari fuel price, give us Buhari's Naira.
Yes, I suppose in that sense, because the prices were lower. Yeah.
The same people also went and gave Buhari a rousing barrier. So it doesn't look like they hate him. I was probably the only person who said, this guy don't deserve the kind of monumental, acclaim and cheerleading that followed this barrier. But that's a conversation for another day, because it's no longer here. But the truth is that the country is getting darker. The electoral process has become very Byzantine. Nobody believed that elections can deliver votes that bring about credibility, that they can be free and fair, and that it is the people you vote for that will get declared as winners of the election. Of course, you've seen poverty. Yesterday, they said, this is from the Nigerian government, that from 81 million people who are in abject poverty, we have now moved to 139 million, and we have 200 million people. So we're not making progress. That's the truth, either politically, economically, culturally, and socially. I don't
Well,
see
the government is disputing those sort of World Bank figures, and they would say to you, I'm sure you've heard them say it many times, that your view of this country is particularly melancholy and despairing.
Well, they've always said that, and I've never been wrong. They have been the ones who've been wrong. My position on politics, economy, in the way the justice system works has been, right. I remember in 2019 when I was arrested in the charge for treason, I made it clear. I said, nope, this is going nowhere. And that's what happened. One day they came and withdrew their charges. So when I said to you that elections are not free, fair, or credible, or that they are allocating votes, I'm not lying. When you look at it, you find out I'm right. So
I expect a lot of Nigerians would agree with you.
So, and on the issue of nnamdi Kanu that we're talking about today, I've always stated that this trial was not going anywhere, and it hasn't gone anywhere. And that's why we're asking them to stop wasting resources, time, energy, and emotions on this, because the DSS spent millions of naira to come and carry out this charade in courts. They have to lock up every street just to come and seek an adjournment.
And would you say that that dark theme that you talk about, that kind of overshadows this country, has resonance for many Nigerians? I mean, you do have a huge following, but do they see this country as darkly as you do, and that sense that everything is about to explode?
They see it even more than I do. That's why they are leaving. That's why most Nigerians, whenever they have the slightest opportunity to leave Nigeria, you don't leave a place that is that's going to explode. I mean, that's making progress. You stay and wait for it to see the progress happen. If this place was promised land, people will be coming in. But because it is not, people are leaving, The only people that are left in Nigeria are people who are stuck in Nigeria. Now, probably people who are dinosaurs who can't go anywhere because they can't sense danger.
But you're not stuck in Nigeria, are you?
I'm likely stuck. This is my passport since January. But even if my passport was not seized, I'll be here. That's a decision I took a long time ago. Even though I have a right to move freely around the world, that I'm done with being, having a career in being, an exile or, being in another person's country. Yeah, because why did we go there in the first place? We travel 12,000 miles just to go and drink drinkable water in America, enjoy electricity, drive on good roads, get good jobs, send our children to school. That's why we all leave this place. If we have that over here, nobody would be a second-class citizen in the UK or anywhere in Europe. Those are the basic reasons why we leave this place. We go and seek hospitals that work. We go and drive on roads that don't kill people. We don't want to live in darkness. We don't want our neighbors to cut our necks off because of insecurity. We don't want our police to jail us when we haven't committed any offense. That's the reason we leave. These are the basic reasons why Nigerians are living in droves. If those conditions are in place, people who have left will return by tomorrow. Some of them will return without taking a single bag of clothing to come back. But Nigeria has denied them that opportunity, and it is because of that darkness that is hovering over Nigeria almost perpetually, day and night, that people are living. That is their own way of expressing that things are not good here anymore.
Well, on that rather dark note, I want to thank you very much.
Benwali community in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, abducting over 100 worshippers during church services on Sunday. The incident occurred in the morning at Ekwa and Cherubim and Seraphim churches while the victims were in worship. Sources said 9 vulnerable persons among the victims later returned home. Confirming the incident, the Northern Can chairman, Reverend Joseph John Hayab, described the attack as sad. He said 2 churches were affected during the attack in the area, adding that although he did not want to speak on the number of people abducted, the situation was troubling, as at the time of filing this report, the Kaduna State government and the police had not issued any official statements on the incident. Now, troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast, Operation Hatinkai OPHK, have recorded major operational successes in the Timbuktu Triangle area of Borno State, clearing several Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorist camps and thwarting coordinated attacks by the insurgents. The latest achievements form part of the ongoing dry season offensive Operation Desert Sanity, aimed at degrading terrorist strongholds and restoring security across the northeast. Military sources disclosed that scores of terrorists were neutralized during the operations, while several others escaped with gunshot wounds as troops overran their enclaves. The Media Information Officer, Headquarters Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hatinkai, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, confirmed the developments in a statement issued on Monday. According to him, troops advanced from their harbor areas on Sunday, January 18, 2026, to conduct deliberate intelligence-led clearance operations across identified terrorist hideouts. He said the operation was effectively supported by the air components of OPHK, which provided sustained intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance coverage, enabling real-time tracking of terrorist movements, deterring reinforcement, and enhancing the precision of ground troops. And the Nigerian Air Force says over 40 terrorists have been killed in coordinated airstrikes carried out in Azar and Musaram areas of Borno State, foiling planned attacks on civilian communities. Disclosing this in a statement on Sunday, the Nigerian Air Force spokesman, Commodore Ehimen Ejodame, said the precision strikes were conducted on January 15th and 16th. Ejodame stated that the strikes were executed by Nigerian Air Force aircraft operating under the air component of Operation Hatinkai, following credible intelligence on terrorist movements and imminent threats to nearby communities. According to him, further scans revealed terrorist elements attempting to regroup under nearby 3 cover, prompting precise and successive airstrikes that neutralized several of them. On his part, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sunday Anneke, reaffirmed the Nigerian Air Force's commitment to providing timely and decisive air support to ground forces.